What's up, you freaking geniuses? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to graph linear inequalities, starting with this one right here. So this one says graph y is less than 3/2 x plus 5. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is convert your inequality into slope-intercept form, which, if you don't remember, is this equation right here. Y is equal to mx plus b, okay? And the way that you do that is all you do is change your inequality sign, regardless of what it is, just change your inequality sign to an equal sign, okay? So I'm going to rewrite this, I'll just rewrite it down here with an equal sign. So this is going to be y is equal to 3/2 x plus 5, okay? Now we're just going to graph this line right here. Okay, but when you graph inequalities, there's basically two types of lines that you can have. You can either have a solid line like that, like just a regular line, or you could have a dashed line like that. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so how do you know if you're going to use a solid line or a dashed line? Well, that's pretty easy. That just simply comes from your inequality symbol right here. Okay, so if you have, let's just write it right here. If you have a less than sign or a greater than sign, you're going to use a dashed line, okay? But if you have a less than or equal to, or a greater than or equal to, okay? If there's an equal to thing attached to it, then you use a solid line, okay? So in this case, our original inequality right here has just a less than sign, right? So that means we're going to use a dashed line when we graph our equation right here. Okay, if you need a reminder on how to graph this, I'll link a video to that in the card above, but I'll go over it quickly here. So this number right here at the end is just your y-intercept, okay? So this is the point you plot along your y-axis. So since this is a positive 5, just come along your y-axis and plot a point at positive 5, which is right there, okay? And then this number right here that's next to the x, okay, this number is your slope. So remember, your slope is equal to the rise over the run, right? So if this is 3/2, this means we're going to go up 3 and then go over to the positive direction, to the right, 2 spaces, okay? So starting from our point right here, we're going to go up 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then go over 2. 1, 2, okay? Plot a point right there, you got your 2 points, just draw a straight line. Okay, and remember in this example, it's going to be a dashed line because our inequality here is just a less than symbol. Okay, so here is our dashed line. That's good enough right there, up here, okay. Draw my arrow. Okay, now this line that we just graphed, this is also called your boundary line, okay? Because whenever we basically finish graphing our answer, all you're gonna do is, starting from the boundary line, you're either just gonna shade in this side of the graph, okay? Or you're gonna shade in this side of the graph, okay? But this line is basically the boundary, okay? That's where you cut it off. So how do you figure out what side you're supposed to shade in? Well, in order to figure that out, all you have to do is test a point, okay? So the easiest point you can always test is this point right here, the origin, okay? Because the origin is at the point 0, 0, right? So if we're gonna test the point 0, 0, all you have to do is plug this point right here, or this ordered pair, into your inequality, okay? So let's bring down the inequality really quick. So it's y is less than 3/2 x plus 5. Okay, so again, this is your x coordinate, this is your y coordinate, so we're gonna plug in a 0 for x right here and a 0 for y, okay? So it's gonna look like this. 0 is less than 3/2 times x, which again is 0, plus 5, right? Okay, so simplifying this, it's gonna be 0 is less than 3/2 times 0, that's just 0, and then plus 5. Okay, so then here we have 0 is less than positive 5. Okay, is this a true statement? Yes, it is. Okay, so that means since this point right here, 0, 0, gave us a true statement, that just means we're going to start at our boundary line and shade towards 0, 0. Okay, so we're going to shade in this direction, okay, because this is the side that has 0, 0 in it, right? So that also means if we tested any of these points, all of these would give us a true statement. They would all give us a correct answer. So let's keep going and do one last example. Okay, here is our second example. So this one says graph y is less than or equal to negative 4x minus 2. Okay, so again, the first thing you want to do is just put this in slope-intercept form. And you do that by just replacing your inequality symbol with an equal sign, okay? So this is going to be y is equal to negative 4x minus 2, okay? Now let's graph this really quick. So again, this is your y-intercept, so negative 2. So just plot a point along the y-axis at negative 2 right there. And then our slope this time is negative 4, right? So the slope is equal to negative 4, which we can also write as negative 4 over 1, okay? If you want to write it as a fraction. So remember, this is the rise over the run, okay? So this time we're going to go down 4 spaces and then over to the right in the positive direction, 1 space. Okay, so starting from your point, you're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go over 1. There we go. Okay, so here's your 2 points, right? Now again, are you going to graph a solid line or a dashed line? Well, in this case, our inequality has the equal to thing attached to it, right? So that means this is going to be a solid line. Okay, so let's graph a solid line here. Right, oh, that's much better. There we go. Arrows on there. Okay, so again, this is also called your boundary line, this line that we just graphed, okay, your boundary line. Now, the only other thing we have to figure out is if we're shading in on the left side over here or on the right side, okay? And again, the way you do that is by simply testing a point, any point. But the easiest point you can test is right here at the origin, okay, 0, 0. So again, the point that we're going to test is 0, 0. And the way you test it is just plugging it in back into this inequality up here, which I will bring down here. Y is less than or equal to negative 4x minus 2. Okay, so let's plug in a 0 for x right here and a 0 for y. Okay, so this is going to be 0 is less than or equal to negative 4 times 0 minus 2. Okay, so simplifying this, we're going to have 0 is less than or equal to negative 4 times 0 is 0 minus 2, right? Then here we have 0 is less than or equal to negative 2. Okay, is this a true statement? Is 0 less than or equal to negative 2? No, right? This is a false statement. 0 is greater than negative 2. Okay, so since this point right here, 0, 0, right here, gave us a false statement, a false answer, that means we want to shade in the other direction, on the other side. Okay, so that means we're going to shade on this side. So that also means if we tested any of these points, all of these would give us a true statement. They would all give us a correct answer, okay? So if you found the video helpful, definitely leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any other questions or want to see any other examples, just let me know in the comment section below. Also, there's a couple playlists attached that I think you'll find helpful, so definitely check those out, and I'll see you there.